So if you're new to homeopathy, you might have wondered what the little numbers on the side of the bottles mean. What those numbers mean is potency. And I know firsthand that it's very easy to assume that, okay, well, higher potency must mean more strong and lower potency must mean more weak. Well, at least that's what I thought. And it turns out that it's actually a little bit more, I guess you could say, of a different way of thinking than one might usually think of when they hear the word potency. Within homeopathy, the potency scale instead is going to be viewed as just from the strictly physical all the way to the strictly psychological. That is in part why, if you've ever been to a homeopath, they'll ask you a whole series of questions ranging from just very physical issues, such as if you have dry skin, if you have eczema, if you have headaches, if you have rashes, all the way to your emotional state of mind with questions that might seem very rather personal. But in reality, it's because a remedy can encompass a full range. And so with the potency scale, it can really help account for the full magnified potential of a remedy. Like, for example, a very common remedy is nat mur. Nat mur is even featured as a cell salt because of its physical actions with balancing fluid in the body. However, on a very physical end as well, nat mur can deal with dryness, it can deal with constipation, just in a very physical acting way. So if a person has issues, with dryness, constipation, or even headaches, particularly from the sun, they could find great relief with nat mur. However, within the full magnified scope of everything nat mur can encompass, even psychologically, it also deals with very chronic depression and just a very reserved nature, or people maybe that can't really let themselves cry. And so with nat mur, then, if you were one of those people who had more of the physical, not physical, but emotional attributes of that remedy or constitutional state, and constitutional states is, a word I'll be going more into detail in other videos about what a constitutional state is, then you might find instead that you might need a higher remedy, one that makes up more or targets just more of a psychological nature. So to just explain just more of the entire potency scale as a whole, it's going to start off with the X scale. The X's are commonly even the cell salts because they're just so physically acting. So you have 3X, 6X, and 12X. The X's are going to act very much on just organ support, physical drainage issues. That's why the cell salts, if you're familiar, are also always done in the X's, is because it's very just physical only issues. They're not going to comprise any psychological attributes. Then you're going to get into the C scale. Within the C scale, you typically have a 6C, 12C, 30C, and 200C. You might find that a really big starting point with a lot of homeopaths is 30C. That is because 30C is kind of best thought of as the bridge. 30C is where you kind of have where physical kind of starts to merge with psychological. So in 30C, I like to view it as you kind of have a meeting point where it encompasses the all the physical attributes of the lower potencies, but as well as the psychological attributes of the higher potencies. That's what makes it such a very good starter remedy, is because also starting there rather than a higher one right off the bat for a psychological issue, you could also avoid an aggravation or proving, which are two things I'll be getting more into in future videos. And then from there, up on the C scale, you have 200C, which is more psychologically based, but also some physical, but usually a much more, I guess you could say, potent, and moving up with the potencies, kind of physical or mental, emotional issue. And then you move up into the M's, such as 1M, 10M, and beyond. And those are just very, just strictly, just psychologically based. I'll be getting more into in the next video about then how the dosages are determined and more with aggravations and provings. And so yeah, be sure to subscribe, to like this video if you liked it, share it. I know from other YouTubers that there's a bell somewhere that you could hit to get alerted. I'm not even really sure what it is, but hit that too if you want. And yeah, I hope this was informational, and bye.